We're not going to call them that. We're going to call them MAPs, minor attracted persons. No. So don't judge people just because they want to have sex with a 5-year-old.
Ah, yes, Democrats. They called them MAPs, minor attracted persons. Don't be critical of someone just because they want to have sex with a 5-year-old. That was a school teacher in a classroom with children. She, I guess she, is a Democrat. The keep the children away or keep them away from the children. And since we're on the subject, in California, the Democrats are they're running for elected office a convicted child sex offender. And the headline here, California registered sex offender running for city council holds news conference near school. Police called. Of course, he's prohibited from being near a school. Rene Campos, that is the man's name. If you look at pictures, kind of a little wishy-washy there. Rene Campos, allegedly a man, held a news conference feet from an elementary school where children were present, school officials said. A California elementary school filed a police report against a registered child sex offender campaigning as a Democrat for a city council seat in Fresno, California, after he held a news conference very close to a school where children were present on the property. Rene Campos, 41 years old, who's running for the Fresno City Council District 7 race, spoke outside a church in the downtown area located mere feet away from Big Picture Elementary School. That's a public charter school. In a statement, Stephanie Hilton, the school's executive director, and Diana Gonzalez, the superintendent of the school, criticized Rene Campos over the news conference, calling it a, quote, deeply troubling display of contempt for the law. And that's why the Democrats want him elected to a public office. This was not only a potential violation of the legal restrictions placed on him as a registered sex offender, child sex offender, but a profound breach of the trust and safety our school community depends on every single day, the statement said. The school was open and students were actively present at the time of the event. And he lied. He's on camera. He lied. Oh, it's closed. There's nobody here. It happened on Friday. Campos' candidacy has sparked backlash and renewed questions about whether someone with a criminal record like his should be allowed to hold public office. And the Democrats say, hey, it's just a child sex offender. You know, why would that be an issue? In 2018, he was charged with possession of child sex abuse materials. According to court records, Campos has said he pleaded no contest to a misdemeanor charge and is now a registered sex offender. In a previous statement to Fox News Digital, Rene Campos, who's running to unseat incumbent Nelson Esparza, say he's racist, trying to take away Nelson Esparza's seat, said he has met all legal requirements to run for city council. He's a Democrat. Says, I satisfied every legal obligation imposed under the laws the state enacted for accountability and rehabilitation. Yeah, stay away from the kids, creepy boy. So let's go to creepy boy, because here is Rene. He goes by Rene. He's a man, and his name is Rene Campos. And here he is holding a press conference just outside of a school. Rene Campos, 41 years old. Running for public office in California, and the Democrats are supporting him.
I believe Fresno deserves leaders that are honest from the very beginning, not the end.
Right.
So
not
going
the
into
end.
this, I am putting my life out there.
Up front about his status as a registered sex offender, Rene Campos is not running from his past as he runs for office.
He's not running from his past.
I've been given the chance to rehabilitate through the courts and back into the system.
Charged with being in possession of child sex abuse material back in 2018, the Fresno native says he pled no contest to a misdemeanor charge.
Charge? What's a charge? I don't know what a charge is. Local news reporter in Fresno, TV news and all that good stuff. And they're having this event, a press event. right outside, and knowing that everybody knows he's a registered child sex offender and that he's running for public office. Hey, meet me over by the elementary school and we'll have a press conference.
Now launching his campaign to represent District 7 on the Fresno City Council. He says his focus is on safety.
So I say, let's choose somebody outside the box, somebody who knows the system from the inside out. Because I've experienced the laws that we are trying to reform right now.
Trying to reform them to make it okay, I assume. The school said that it was open with children visibly entering and exiting the school. And he said, hey, camera crew, meet me over by the elementary school. And he satisfied all the requirements.
The conditions of your sentence
there's a church
a certain distance from schools?
There are certain California restrictions people must follow within the law, and I follow the law to the letter.
And must follow within the law. That he's inarticulate, unintelligent, child sexual predator holding a press conference with the news media outside of a school with a church across the street and church bells ringing.
There's an elementary school right there. Is that would that be against the rules?
I would say during operational hours, absolutely. I believe they are closed right now. I don't see anyone, and I understand the issue. However, I called it here because I felt this place was important. We can't say this person is that person. I have rehabilitated.
Can't say this person is that person. I have rehabilitated. Well, you should take his word for it because, why wouldn't you? Campos reportedly asked the news media to meet him at the church at 3:30 p.m. The elementary school, which is right there, is open from 7 a.m. until 4 p.m. Monday through Friday. And the school said, oh, yeah, there were kids there. There were kids and what a creep. The Diocese of Fresno said Campos independently and irresponsibly chose the location for the press conference and used the Catholic Church and school as props in his theater of politics. The Diocese of Fresno has long-standing history of civic engagement with elected officials and candidates across the political spectrum, but convicted child sex offenders. Such engagement is rooted in communication, transparency, collegial community collaboration. Sure, the diocese said in a statement to Fox News Digital, this collaborative approach is clearly not of mind for Mr. Campos. I would say that's clearly the case. And he's a Democrat, and he's running for the city council, and the media loves him, and they'll meet him outside a school to hold a press conference, knowing that he's a child sex predator, and all of that is okay. Boy, oh boy, man, oh man, a Shevitz. I'm telling you. And that's one that the Democrats are running for office. We've got another Democrat that's running for office in Texas. That was California, of course. And in Texas, we've got another story going on altogether, and it's madness. I can tell you, because we have good old what's her name was Jasmine Crockett running for office, and she lost her primary. Jasmine Crockett did to a primary, another Democrat, of course, and the person that and Jasmine Crockett lost, and the person that won is and they're selling him. The Democrats are selling him as a moderate. His name is TalaFreako, James TalaFreako. And my friend Vince Colonnese was calling him yesterday TalaFreako. And that seems like a pretty good name for TalaFreako, the Democrat TalaFreako, who won the Democratic primary in Texas. James TalaFreako defeats Jasmine Crockett in blockbuster Democratic primary for U.S. Senate, for the United States Senate. Isn't that amazing? And this TalaFreako guy, the Democrat who is now the candidate for the Democrats for the U.S. Senate in Texas, is a freak. And honestly, I was listening to my friend Vince Colonnese, our friend Vince Colonnese yesterday, and he called him TalaFreako, and I was laughing. I was driving in my car, and I was laughing at TalaFreako and playing some amazing audio of TalaFreako. Let me, where does the TalaFreako begin? Because all the way back at 22. We have so many soundbites. So we got, let's go to TalaFreako, because here is the Democrat nominee for the the U.S. Senate in Texas, the person that the Democrats have elected in their primary, and they're such racists and misogynists. The Democrats should really have a combination word, a portmanteau word, for people that are racist and sexist at the same time, since they're always accusing everybody of that, and then they hang out with Bill Clinton, you know. But never mind that. Here's James TalaFreako. This is the guy that's running for the U.S. Senate in Texas, no less. He says that our border should have a lemonade stand and free gift baskets and hats for people.
Our southern border should be like our front porch. There should be a giant welcome mat out front.
And the Democrats clapped. They all clapped. They said, "Yay, our border!" And this is Texas. Our border should be a welcome mat, and 7 billion people should flow in and move into your daughter's bedroom, because the border, our southern border, should be a welcome mat. That's what he said, a welcome mat, because we don't have enough illegal aliens under the Democrats. And here's the Associated Press. Texan James TalaFreako becomes a fresh face for Democrats' midterm. For this, it's good to be a Democrat. For Democrats' midterm hopes after Senate primary win. He's a white male, you know how they are. James TalaFreako barely mentioned Donald Trump when he finally got to give his victory speech on Wednesday night as Democrats' nominee for the U.S. Senate in Texas. The 36-year-old state lawmaker, he's already elected state lawmaker, is now the front man for the left's opposition to Trump. He's a front man for the left and their opposition to Trump. Now, listen to this. He pretends to be a preacher, right? And what else do the Democrats say about him? They say all kinds of crazy things about him. That he's a seminarian, he's a progressive, he's a pastor, and he likes to use the Bible to explain that God is a transgender person who wants an abortion. Here is James TalaFreako on how many genders there are.
There are many more than 2 biological sexes. In fact, there are 6.
There are 6. He knows that there are 6. That's what is a woman? Ask a Democrat, what is a woman? It stumps him every time. And there are 6 genders. We should have a welcome mat at our border and just wave in 7 billion people. I figure 1 billion people want to stay where they are. And here is James TalaFreako. He's running TalaFreako. TalaFreako, Vince Colonnese. TalaFreako nickname. And TalaFreako, listen to this. He's a seminarian and a pastor.
God is both masculine and feminine and everything in between. God is non-binary.
God is non-binary. God is non-binary, and our border should be an open border. It should be a big welcome mat for the entire planet Earth, and that would be real nice, because you know how that goes. TalaFreako, transgender, he wants children to be genitally mutilated and all of that good stuff because they love child genital mutilation. James TalaFreako.
Trans children are God's children.
Sure.
Made in God's own image.
Which one?
There's nothing wrong with them. Nothing at all.
Nothing at all. Children.
They are perfect.
They're perfect.
They are beautiful. And they are sacred.
Right. And God is non-binary and transgender and needs abortions. And listen to this. Men who say they're women need abortions, and he wants us to pay for men to get abortions. They don't have wombs or ovaries or any of that stuff.
Before we go further, I want to acknowledge that our trans community needs abortion care too.
Our trans community needs
Defending
abortion care.
Trans Texans is something we have to do every day.
Defending trans Texas is something we have to do every day. He's running for the United States Senate. The Democrat Party, on a national scale, on a national level, are running this guy, and they say, oh, he's a pastor. He's a seminarian. Sure. And James TalaFreako, they call him a populist. They call him a progressive. They say he's a pastor and a seminarian, and he's mentally ill. I'd say that he's mentally ill. He's definitely not a biologist, but there are 6 genders, and men who say they're women definitely need abortions when they get pregnant without wombs. He's running for the Senate, and this is the Democratic Party. Membership in the Democratic Party is clear evidence of mental illness.
It's every man's right to have babies if he wants them.
But you can't have babies.
Don't you oppress me.
I'm not oppressing you, Stan. You haven't got a womb. Where's the fetus going to gestate? You're going to keep it in a box?
Let's go back to the telephones, Michael. Let's go to Eric calling from Texas. Eric, you're on the Chris Plant Show.
Man, Chris, it's good to hear you again.
Hey, man.
You know, I really appreciate you and your show, and it was so wonderful to watch Miss Hot Wheels was given papers to walk. And I was probably one of the few that worked with Rush Limbaugh's Operation Chaos.
Yeah, sure, yeah. Yeah, Operation Chaos. Yeah.
But you know what made it better was, I'm sure I was, there's not probably a lot of us that did that, but the Democrats got rid of her. That's what just makes it even better.
Yeah, Jasmine Crockett out and James TalaFreako in. TalaFreako.
Yep. But you know what? That guy, I'm behind the red wall of Texas. I'm in West Texas, where it's pretty much 90% Republican. Solid red wall. And he's only catering to the city types, especially the ones that are coming from Illinois, New York, Washington State, and they bring their politics here. But beyond that, I don't see him. I don't care how many Democrats are going to vote for him. It's not. I'm sorry, I'm not seeing it.
Well, a Democrat has not won statewide office in Texas in 30 years, I believe.
Yeah.
And this is a statewide race for the U.S. Senate. And the guy is a freak. And look, he's also been tweeting out over time this racist weirdo stuff about his creepy white skin tweets. And the guy's a freak. He's a lefty, and he's at least as big a lefty as Jasmine Crockett, right?
Well, yeah, Jasmine Crockett, she got fed her papers because she's an embarrassment.
Yeah, it's true.
And we don't like that. But he, on the other hand, he is going after the heart and soul of Texans. In my little small town of 1,200 people, we have 15 churches.
Yeah.
That's not going to fly.
Yeah, well, we can certainly hope, because we don't want this guy in the United States Senate in Washington. The Democrats are nuts.
Y'all know we got Governor Hot Wheels down there. Come on now.
God is both masculine and feminine and everything in between. God is non-binary.
Yes, God is non-binary, says McGinnis. He's running for the Senate. And TalaFreako. He's I apologize. Too many loons. And TalaFreako, yeah, God is non-binary. He's transgender. God is transgender, because Democrats are mentally ill. But we do have the left-wing fake journalist, Sig Heilemann. He goes by Sig. His name is John, but he prefers Sig because he likes Sig Heil Heilemann. And Sig Heilemann was this morning naturally on MS-13 on Morning Joke, the Morning Joke television show with Joke and Mika. And Sig Heilemann said, hey, what do you think about this lunatic, James TalaFreako, who says that God is non-binary and men who are transgender need abortions and we need to pay for it. And he uses Bible verses to justify abortion and transgender children. And the Democrats call him a pastor, and they say, "Oh, he was a seminarian. He loves." And the lefties, what are they? Is it Bible pounding? They call him a Bible thumping something or other. But he's nothing of the kind. He doesn't. I don't think he could locate the Bible. He's a fake seminarian, a fake pastor. He's a leftist. And Sig Heilemann is a leftist also, and he's a front man for the Democrat Party. He poses as a journalist, and here he is on MS-13 this morning with Morning Joke and Mika, talking about James TalaFreako, the Democrats' hope for the U.S. Senate in Texas.
The key thing here is that James TalaFreako was cast, and increasingly, it still is cast. I would say increasingly, but still is cast as a moderate. There is nothing. He's not a moderate. Yeah, he and Jasmine Crockett had basically the same positions on almost every issue. He's a populist. He's a progressive. He's pretty far to the left on a lot of issues.
Pretty far to the left on a lot of issues. God is non-binary. Men need abortions. Transgender children must be promoted. Child genital mutilation. You know, there are tribes in Congo who are culturally ahead of James TalaFreako when it comes to civilizational concerns. Sig Heilemann on MS-13 this morning. Well, he's still being cast. He didn't know how to say it as a moderate when he's not moderate at all. His positions are Jasmine Crockett and left of Jasmine Crockett. I never heard Jasmine Crockett say God was non-binary and men need abortions and we need more child genital mutilation. But Sig Heilemann, he's with Team Democrat.
And I will say that part of the key thing is he codes as moderate to a lot of people because of his religiosity, because he is a former seminarian, a practicing church pastor. And that is a thing that people take. They walk away from that thinking, well, he's not a partisan progressive, despite his position on issues. That gets him in the door with a lot of voters, including a lot of Hispanic voters.
So he's two-faced, duplicitous, talking out of both sides of his mouth, leftist, who's going to claim for Latino voters who may actually be Catholic and go to church and believe in God and don't believe that he's a cross-dresser, non-binary, transgender God, as the Democrats would prefer. James TalaFreako, yeah, he's a populist, he's a progressive, he's a seminarian, he's a pastor, and maybe that's just because he's lying to Latino voters who are presumably Catholic. And so you got to be a liar and then come out and tell the Spanish, the Latin American crowd in the church, the congregation, tell them that God is non-binary and transgender and that men need abortions. And say, oh, yeah, I'm a pastor. I'm a pastor. You know, as like Jim Jones of Jonestown, he was a pastor of socialism. I got to tell you, these people, these Democrats, they are truly extraordinary, aren't they? We're at 888-630-9625, and you look at the people that the Democrats are running for office, and just a couple of them we've had today completely berserk. They're not normal people. They're not well. Boy, are they not. James TalaFreako is a freako. James TalaFreako. I'm going to give Vince Colonnese credit for the TalaFreako because I think that he came up with that yesterday and made it up himself. Very, very good stuff. And they've got the convicted child sexual predator, Rene Campos, who's a man, 41 years old, running for the Fresno City Council. And he's a convicted child sex predator. And the Democrats like, yeah, he's our guy. He's our guy. Let's join him at his press conference outside the Catholic school. Let's join him outside the church. And he sounds like a freakazoid because he is a freakazoid. Democrats are running him for elected office. They're running TalaFreako for elected office. And on and on. Oh, and also because we were talking to people in Maryland and talking about the price of gas, and we had Seabass call in, and he talked about how much the price of diesel has gone up in Maryland in the last week or so. And it's true. WBAL in Baltimore, gas costs 10 cents more per gallon of regular gas in Maryland overnight, in one night, one day. And, most, that everywhere in the country, states collect more per gallon in taxes than the oil companies make per gallon. in profit because Democrats, they see an opportunity, you know. But, yeah, it's true. Gas prices did go up in Maryland. Our callers let me know first, and then I searched and found, yes, gas prices and diesel prices, because Seabass called in, and diesel prices have gone up, gas prices have gone up, and in Maryland. And that will happen when there is war in the Middle East, which there is now. Yes, and CBS News, Maryland drivers react to surging gas prices amid war with Iran. Now, but let me ask you this. Why is it that the gas price has gone up in Maryland and not everywhere across the country if it's because of Iran and the Persian Gulf? Wouldn't they go up everywhere at the same time? But in Maryland, they leap up. Isn't that amazing? From $3.21 a gallon to in Bowie, Maryland, and St. Charles, from $3.21 a gallon to $3.91 a gallon, and in Cumberland, Maryland, from $3.28 a gallon to $3.69 a gallon. But if that's true, if it's because of Iran and the Persian Gulf, wouldn't that happen uniformly across the entire United States, America, at the same time? It makes no sense that would affect only one state, does it? Run by left-wing Democrats and Wes Moore, the Democrat governor who's planning on running as a Democrat president. But nobody in the news media is curious enough to ask that question. Well, wait a minute. Has it gone up similarly in D.C. and in Virginia and in Delaware? And they don't ask that. Why don't they ask that? Because that would seem pretty obvious, I think. That'd be pretty darn obvious. But that's me. All right, let's go back to the telephones. Let's go to Jim, calling from Chicago, Illinois, listening on the great WLS. Jimmy, you're on the Chris Plant Show.
Hello, Chris.
Hey, Jim.
Anyway, if TalaFreako were in charge of a church, it would be called Our Lady of Perpetual Indulgence. For example, if a guy wants to swim against women, you say, "You have my blessings, Leah Thomas," or if he wants to play volleyball, "Go spike some faces, Blair Fleming."
Yeah, the nice.
He's that sort of freako.
The nice. He is definitely TalaFreako, and he wants to make sure that children can still enjoy genital mutilation at as early an age as possible, and remarkable stuff. And God is non-binary, Jim, non-binary. So God is transgender and covers the waterfront. And he goes on and on about the first two lines of the Bible make it clear that transgender people need abortions or something like that.
Oh, man.
Democrats and in California at the same time, and that guy's running for the Senate, and in not even a House seat, not a city council seat, but in California they've got the convicted child sex offender, and he's running for city council, and the news media applauded. And then he holds a press conference outside of school where he's prohibited from even standing because he's a child sex predator. And this is the Democrat Party, and 60 Minutes is not working on a piece on these freaks.
Oh, boy.
Oh, boy. That's a fact, huh? Crazy out there. These people. Yeah, Jim, so what is going to be Our Lady of Perpetual Indulgence? That's OLPI.
Yeah.
I went to OLPH as a kid, Our Lady of Perpetual Help. And there is an OLPH here in Washington, D.C., to a Catholic school. It's in Anacostia, Our Lady of Perpetual Help. And I went to Our Lady of Perpetual Help in New York, in Pelham, New York. And then we moved to Chicago, to Glenview, outside of Chicago. Went to OLPH in Glenview, and all my brothers went there. And, OLPH, but, yeah, Our Lady of Perpetual Indulgence that's the Democrat version of a Catholic school, right, Jim?
Exactly.
I'm telling you, crazy, man, crazy. Thank you, Jim. Thanks. Good stuff. You know, one of the things I realized when we went to, and I apologize because we went to John Fetterman, Senator Fetterman, when he was planning. Then we never got to Peter Boyle, did we? We never got to Peter Boyle, and I apologize for that. But that's a terrible thing. Yeah. John Fetterman holding a press conference today because, and then an uber duper. He wanted to chant uber duper because, he's kind of the young Frankenstein of the Democrat Party. See? And it's hey, Senator Fetterman, please, not so loud. Isn't that amazing? Democrats. And then,
for safety's sake, don't humiliate him.
Yes, that's. I'm telling you. All right, let's get back to the telephones because I see people still calling in on the energy and the war in Iran, and it's difficult for me to say the war in Iran. I've never said that before. The war in Iraq rolls off the tongue easily. The war in Iran, I'm still learning. But let's go to Leon calling from the land of Lincoln, the great state of Illinois. Leon, you're on the Chris Plant Show.
Hey, Chris, thanks for taking my call.
Hey, man, you bet.
You might want to go ahead and check on that because I drive between Iowa, Illinois, and Indiana, and all the diesel prices are up right now.
Is that right? Everywhere you go, state to state?
They went up at least 10 cents a gallon within, 4 hours of each other.
No kidding, state by state. Wow, I believe it. And you drive from Illinois. Where do you go, you say? What states?
From Illinois to Iowa to Indiana.
Okay.
For the tri-states I'm going through, they're all going up.
And you're listening to a great and informative radio on your dashboard radio, and that's wonderful. And so Iowa, Illinois, Indiana, you can testify that diesel jumped in no time at all, boom, boom. And we're assuming now it's because of the war with Iran and the conflict in the Persian Gulf.
Well, that and J.B. Pritzker's a great guy.
Yeah, that and Pritzker. Yeah, and again, in Maryland with Wes Moore there, another progressive Democrat, they love taxes. And again, this is a true fact, and this has been true for decades, that the oil companies that they drill the oil and offshore and around the world and process it and turn it into gasoline and bring it to gas stations and put it in, and the oil and gas companies make less money, fewer pennies per gallon than any state, because every state taxes the gasoline at a rate that is so high that the oil companies would never boost gas prices that much. But you're right, J.B. Pritzker, and a so-called progressive Democrat, governor of Illinois, who inherited billions of dollars from his grandfather and his father, right, Leon?
Right.
And he's presumably going to end up in a penitentiary in Illinois after he leaves the state house, right? Because that's an Illinois tradition.
They say it's for the road tax, and I drive the roads every day, and they're not getting any better.
Yeah, that's and they love taxing the hell out of everything, and gasoline is one of their favorites because what are you going to do about it? What are you going to say about it? But again, oil and gas companies make less per gallon of gasoline than the state that you live in makes on the taxes, and in California, it's completely ridiculous. I have one brother living in California, and he sends pictures of the gas pumps every now and then, and they're crazy. It's a different scale. I'm glad you called in, Leon, because that's good stuff. And Seabass called in earlier to talk about the price of diesel, and I'm glad you called in to clarify it for us, Leon. Thank you very much. And drive safe out there. Look out for the illegal aliens that were given commercial driver's licenses by Democrats.
Always.
All right, buddy. All right, be well, Leon. Thanks. That's Democrats make the roads less safe. Oh, yeah, speaking of which, I got a couple of Democrat crimes to get to, too. Abortion moves fast, and right now in towns and villages across our country, there are women being pressured into making that irreversible decision in moments of panic and fear. They're told to act quickly or risk losing support from you-know-who. A lot of women feel they have no other option, but because of you, they do have options at Preborn's network of clinics. A woman receives what the abortion industry will never offer: compassion without pressure, clarity about the life growing inside of her, real support to welcome her baby into the world, to become a human being, to walk among us. and the hope of the gospel. Now, as Preborn celebrates 20 years of saving babies' lives, there is a moment right now that, well, you can help save countless lives for years to come. An ultrasound machine doesn't just show a picture. It introduces a mother to her child for the first time, and many clinics don't actually have an ultrasound, nor can they afford an ultrasound. Well, Preborn's goal is very, very simple and urgent. Place an ultrasound machine in every clinic across the United States of America that needs one, and if you have the means, they ask very humbly and politely, would you consider a tax-deductible gift of $15,000 to save countless lives for years to come? To donate, all you have to do is dial pound 250. Any amount will help. And say the keyword baby when prompted. That's pound 250, the keyword is baby. Or visit preborn.com/plant on Al Gore's amazing internet. That's preborn.com/PLANTE. Yes, sir. So we've got that going. I've got a couple more crazy Democrat stories before we move on, because they just give me all this stuff every day. I have to try to pack in as much as I can. The Democrats love open borders. They love illegal aliens. More Democrats, more murder. Here's the Department of Homeland Security with a release. Illegal alien with more than 30 prior arrests fatally stabs woman in Virginia at a bus stop. Stabbed her to death. ICE requests that Virginia authorities not release this public safety threat again. Now, according to reports Monday, February 23rd, Stephanie Minter, 41 years old, of Fredericksburg, Virginia, was found dead at a local bus stop with multiple stab wounds to the upper body, her neck and beyond, murdered. And it turns out that she was murdered. There's video they published, and then a local business owner saw the individual and saw the pictures put out. And Abdul Jallah, 32 years old, an illegal alien from Sierra Leone, had been arrested and released 30 times. He had dozens of violent felonies, and the Democrats in Virginia kept releasing him. And now he's murdered Stephanie Minter at a bus stop with a knife. Now he'll be put in prison for the rest of his life, but it's too late for Stephanie Minter.